A major bombshell for the UK and its Brexit plans. The country's foreign minister resigning just hours after the top Brexit official quit. Now there's serious doubt about what kind of deal, if any, the UK will be able to make. Wilfred Frost has been following this story for us. Hi, Wilf.
Hi there, Melissa. Yes, indeed. So Boris Johnson became the most high-profile resignation from UK Prime Minister Theresa May's cabinet a few hours ago. His resignation letter has just hit, so we'll just pause and go through that. And he said the dream of Brexit is dying, and based on the Prime Minister's plan, he said, in that respect, we are truly headed for the status of a colony. So that resignation letter has just come out. Now, he is the 7th resignation from her cabinet since November, but most importantly, he's the 3rd Brexiteer in just 24 hours to resign after Brexit Secretary David Davis and his junior Steve Baker resigned on Sunday. This follows Friday's cabinet meeting where Theresa May forced through her soft plan for Brexit. May tried to continue business as normal today in Parliament and has said a new foreign secretary will be appointed imminently as she desperately tries to reunite her government and her party.
These new charges against Harvey Weinstein carry, David, a maximum sentence of life in prison. The 66-year-old former movie mogul, former head of a studio, walked into court today to enter a not guilty plea. The most serious of these new charges are 2 felonies of predatory sexual assault, plus another count of criminal sex act for allegedly forcing himself on a 3rd woman in 2006. So now, in case you're keeping track, he faces a total of 6 counts.
Tonight, it is my honor and privilege to announce that I will nominate Judge Brett Kavanaugh to the United States Supreme Court.
From Thailand, all 12 boys and the coach have been rescued now from the cave that they were trapped in for more than 2 weeks. It's the 3rd day, and they were wondering if they could do it all on the 3rd day, and they managed to do it. I think they got better at the procedure, which was complex, and I mean, really a pretty good blueprint for. I guess this was specific just to this situation, but they prepared and prepared and prepared, and then pulled the trigger with rains imminent and a successful outcome.
NATO has not treated us fairly, but I think we'll work something out. We pay far too much, and they pay far too little. But we will work it out, and all countries will be happy. In the UK, that's a situation that's been going on for a long time. So I have NATO, I have the UK, which is in somewhat turmoil, and I have Putin. Frankly, Putin may be the easiest of them all. Who would think?
It's a contentious start to this NATO summit. At breakfast this morning with the NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg, the president really went right after Germany, criticizing Germany for the very thing that the European allies have been criticizing him for, as you say, being too close to Russia. Here's what the president said at breakfast this morning.
If you look at it, Germany is a captive of Russia because they got rid of their coal plants, they got rid of their nuclear. They're getting so much of the oil and gas from Russia. I think it's something that NATO has to look at. I think it's very inappropriate.
That meeting with Vladimir Putin in Helsinki next week really looming large over this summit here in Brussels. And you look at the reaction from the NATO ministers, and they really don't know what to make of President Trump, who comes in here sort of with verbal fisticuffs right off the bat.
21st Century Fox upping its bid for British broadcaster Sky to roughly $18.60 a share, topping CNBC parent company Comcast's offer. Julia Borson joins us from Sun Valley, Idaho, where the biggest names in media are gathering right now. Julia.
Well, Melissa, the media moguls are here in Sun Valley, and the focus has shifted away from what's next for Fox to what the next bids are for Sky, with Fox Executive Chairman Rupert Murdoch and Brian Roberts, Comcast CEO, both arriving yesterday. You can bet that neither of them got very much sleep last night. Now we can expect Comcast to reply with a counteroffer within days. Now, a source tells me that Comcast is now fully focused on Sky, where it sees an opportunity with this auction restarting. Now the executives are all awaiting a decision from the UK's takeover panel, which will announce the minimum bid that Disney will be obligated to pay for Sky shares, assuming that that deal closes. This is all due to something called the chain principle rule in the UK that will link Sky's value to the higher bid that Disney has made for Fox.
Papa John's stock hitting a new 52-week low today after Forbes reported the company's founder and former CEO John Schnatter allegedly used a racial slur on a conference call back in May. The report says this was during a role-playing exercise in an attempt to prevent future public relations issues. Schnatter stepped down from his role in January after making controversial comments about the NFL's leadership during the anthem protest last year, partially blaming the league for slowing sales at the pizza chain. Now, Papa John's did not confirm this incident, but said in a statement to CNBC, Papa John's condemns racism and any insensitive language, no matter the situation or setting. Diversity is an essential ingredient in our pursuit of providing a better product and better service to our customers and the communities where we operate and live. Once again, Schnatter is no longer the CEO. Steve Ritchie did take over for him back in January, but the stock is down around 4.5%.
For years, presidents have been coming to these meetings and talked about the expense, the tremendous expense for the United States, and tremendous progress has been made. Everyone's agreed to substantially up their commitment. They're going to up it at levels that they've never thought of before. Prior to last year, where I attended my first meeting, it was going down. The amount of money being spent by countries was going down and down very substantially. And now it's going up very substantially, and commitments were made. Only 5 of 29 countries were making their commitment, and that's now changed. The commitment was at 2%. Ultimately, that'll be going up quite a bit higher than that.
Fox just gaining that UK regulatory approval just earlier today. Now, that was very much expected, but of course it does open the door for Fox to make another bid to counter Comcast's $34 billion bid, which was the latest bid made last night. Now, that topped Fox's $32.5 billion offer, which was earlier yesterday. And of course, that's up from the $30 billion that Comcast had previously offered for Sky. Now, after initially approving Fox's bid yesterday, Sky's independent directors accepted Comcast's offer. Comcast, which is, of course, CNBC's parent company, its CEO, Brian Roberts, is here. The cable giant saying it expects to close this Sky deal by the end of October. Now, we're still awaiting an announcement from Britain's takeover panel on the minimum that Disney must pay for Sky should that Fox acquisition be completed.
Secretary Mnuchin is on Capitol Hill for an annual hearing that is billed as about the global financial system, international financial stability. But you can bet that it's going to center on trade, given everything that we've seen in the last couple of weeks. Our producer Stephanie Dew caught up with the Treasury Secretary this morning, and here's what he said.
Good. Do you support the tariffs?
I support our policies, absolutely. Sorry, what was the question? The economy? We're monitoring closely, and we're looking for a very strong, as I've mentioned, GDP this quarter, and the economy is doing fabulous.
I also want to thank Prime Minister May for pursuing fair and reciprocal trade with the United States. Once the Brexit process is concluded and perhaps the UK has left the EU, I don't know what they're going to do, but whatever you do is okay with me. That's your decision. Whatever you're going to do is okay with us. Just make sure we can trade together. That's all that matters.
I'm seeing thousands upon thousands, waves and waves of protesters coming through central London, dominating the whole of the West End as well. I'm now standing just around Piccadilly Circus at the bottom of Regent's Street as well. In front of me is Trafalgar Square, where a lot of the protesters are going to be convening yet again. But they started off north of Oxford Circus, for those of our viewers who know the geography of London.
What we are seeing, this is the president arriving. He just stepped out of the car with the First Lady, Melania Trump, to meet with the Queen. And here is this historic moment at Windsor Castle. Queen Elizabeth II meeting with President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump.
The Deputy Attorney General who oversees the Russian investigation into the 2016 election meddling, he's going through the counts that are being lobbed against these 12 intelligence officers from Russia. There are 11 criminal counts that this grand jury has indicted this group of 12 Russian intelligence officers with. They range from money laundering to conspiracy to commit an offense against the U.S. through cyber operations. So it's a wide range of offenses that the Department of Justice in this investigation have found these individuals to have taken part of.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.